English with deck. I feel like it's unseasonably warm at the moment. Last week I was mentioning how it's so cold. It's bitter in my house. It's bitterly cold in the house, for example. And however, now it's sudden over the course of 1 week, the temperature has suddenly risen to a pretty comfortable level. Of course, at night time, it's still pretty chilly, or very, very chilly. Uh, in fact, I wouldn't even use the word chilly. I'd say very cold. But yeah, the difference is amazing. However, I did just take a quick look at the old weather forecast, and next week the temperature will, well, for use of a better word, plummet. So I am next. I say next week. It's now Sunday, so as of tomorrow for the following week, we're going from an average of 8 to 10 degrees daytime to wow, 5, 7, 6, 7, 7, ooh, 7. Oh, and then it goes back up. So yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster of a roller coaster of the weather at the moment, like cold, hot, warm, cold, etc. But anyway, yep, enough about the weather. Now, I just wanted to talk about something which confuses a lot of English learners. Now, this is something that takes time to master. And honestly, it's difficult. And it doesn't translate across into all cultures or languages because not all cultures have this thing in their culture in the same way. Now, oh my gosh, what is it? Well, today I just want to mention about something called sarcasm and why it's so easy to misunderstand. Sarcasm is very, well, for British people, it's a very classic British thing. A lot of British humour will come from sarcasm. You will encounter sarcasm in everyday conversations, even to a degree in formal situations. And honestly, to people who are unaware of how it works or just not sure how to use it, it can come across, especially British sarcasm, it can come across as a little coarse, a little rough, a little mean, for use of a better word. Now, for example, have you ever spoken to someone who is from England or heard something on the TV, heard something on the radio, YouTube, whatever, and you thought, wait, were you serious now? Well, yeah, that's probably going to be sarcasm. Probably. Okay, so just a little bit of a backstory from my personal life. Now, I've said before, but my wife is Japanese, and she's good. She's amazing at English. No real issues at all. Um, but as a Japanese speaker, there have been many times when she has been not just to me, but talking to other British English speakers, and she's been like, "Why were you being so mean?" She's thought this, or thought, "Why were you being so mean then? What happened? What was that about?" Eh? Why did you say that? And those are my personal anecdotes, and I know from from students of mine, from people I've just talked to, that sarcasm can be so easily misunderstood. So, at its simplest, I'd say British sarcasm is basically saying the opposite of what you really mean. But quite often, it's in quite a calm, polite, and understated way, you know? So, for example, if I say, "Oh, brilliant," or "Oh, brilliant," now that can mean that's great or absolutely terrible. One more time. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely great. and or absolutely terrible. Now, there's two opposites there. Now, if I said, "Oh, brilliant," okay, so the tone is a little different. So one more time. "Oh, brilliant! Oh, brilliant!" Which one do you think that is? Great or terrible? And then this one. "Oh, brilliant! Great or terrible?" Well, if you answered "that's great" for the first one, you were correct. And "terrible" for the second one, well, you're correct again. There's only two options. Yeah, so it's the tone that changes. Now, of course, it can be situational. It does help if you can see the person and if you can see the situation, but we can't always be that lucky. So it's really important to recognize the tone of voice. Now, British sarcasm is dry, it's subtle, it's delivered quite often with a straight face, a poker face. So there's no, there's not always a smile. There's not always anger there. So yeah, and often it's intentionally ambiguous. Great word there, ambiguous. So if you miss the tone, well, you probably missed the meaning. Okay, so now I just wanted to give a bit of background to British sarcasm. I think it's important to know the history of stuff. So I guess British society traditionally valued politeness, emotional restraint, hiding oneself, not making a scene in public. So instead of saying "I'm angry," I guess you might have heard, well, that's not ideal. Let's hear that again. "Oh, I'm so angry. Oh. Well, that's not ideal." There's a difference there. One is polite, poised. One is obviously emotional. One is obviously angry. One is obviously a bit ambiguous. So I guess sarcasm became a way to, express frustration. Or on the other side, even show wit, show humor, or intelligence. And honestly, I think the most common use is to, apart from humor and intelligence, I would say the secondary most common use would be to criticize without sounding rude. You know, we don't want to openly be mean to someone, so we just throw in a little bit of humor there. So yeah, just to sum that up, British sarcasm often doesn't sound like sarcasm. So that's why it's easy to misunderstand. Now, a really classic one that you will hear from people. Now, this is not just British people. Australians do it, Americans do it. A lot. Basically, English speakers do this a lot. But there is a bit of a stereotype for British people to be talking about the weather. Now, if anyone listens to my podcast quite often, you will have heard me talk about the weather a lot, and complain a lot. Sorry about that. So, let's go back to the weather. Now, if I said, "Oh, it's lovely weather we're having," what do you think the weather is today? How do you think the weather forecast is? One more time. Lovely weather we're having here. Is it a sunny day or is it pouring down with rain? What do you think? 3, 2, 1. It's a bloody rainy day. Yes, it's pouring down with rain. So if you got that right, well done. If not, then don't worry. We'll keep just keep listening, and you will get the next one right. I am sure. Okay, so yeah, lovely weather we're having. Now that is a counter. Sorry, that sentence sort of counteracts itself, doesn't it? So that it's raining, but I just say lovely weather. Now, to a British listener, this is obvious sarcasm. But to someone from another culture, it could be very confusing. Maybe you would think, are you seeing the same weather as me? Are you serious? Are you joking? Are you unhappy? What's this? So yeah, it relies on cultural expectations, tone of voice, and context. And without those, well, the meaning, sorry, can disappear or be taken literally, which it shouldn't be quite often. Now, this is a very key point here when British sarcasm goes wrong. So, British sarcasm is usually meant to be, light, bonding, and camaraderie, not aggressive, but it can sometimes feel passive aggressive, rude, or unclear. Now, those three things are so easy. Those three occurrences are so easy to happen that I really do stress this. Often, it's not more often than not that is not the case, but it can very easily come across as that, and that is very unfortunate. So, especially in workplaces, and like conversations between two people of different cultures, and also online messages, it can be very easily misunderstood. So without a little bit of care and pre-thought, just it can be a bit of an issue. So, for example, oh, you've really thought this through, haven't you? Now, that might mean good effort, good job, mate. Or it might mean you clearly didn't think about it at all. You've really thought this through, haven't you? What do you think? Let's try again. Oh, you've really thought this through, haven't you? Good effort, or you didn't think about this at all. And, well, you've really thought about this, haven't you? You've really thought this one through. If you answered good effort for the first one, you're correct. If you answered, well, you clearly didn't think that through, you are correct.